Coming up next on this electric edition of the CHGO Cubs podcast, Nico, total disrespect. First the rumors, and now this. Are you kidding me? We will vent a little bit. Plus, the Brewers did it again. Will it matter this time? It's a magical Monday with plenty of madness. CHGO Cubs next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. It is Monday, and we are ready to talk Cubs baseball with you in the West Loop of Chicago. Luke Stuckmeyer, Joey Christopoulos, and Justin Roman. Not on Tuesday. No. He's here on Monday.
I am.
Yeah, very nice.
Then you guys let me come because tomorrow I go on vacation. So Tuesday, I won't be in Chicago. I won't be in Florida. So thank you for letting me crash your Monday.
Florida. It's not going to feel like Florida here.
Wait, is this the dad? Is this the dad Disney trip?
This is the Universal Studios Disney family of four. Our first vacation. We're very excited.
The wallet is going to take a hit, ladies and gentlemen.
I might wear the same outfit again for the next time I'm on, and just keep wearing it because no new outfits are coming.
That's right. Dad, can I get? Dad, can I get? Dad, can I have?
Worth it, though.
It's so worth it. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited.
We are going to do a lot of fun stuff. We're talking about that top 100 list from MLB Network, which is slightly flawed, and some people have noticed it. But hey, everything's flawed in our world. We'll go through the top 10 list. We'll talk about what the Brewers did. We have a signing today that some people sort of dreamed about for the Cubs, but it's clearly not going to happen. And we'll see what else we get to. Hi to everybody in the live YouTube chat. I see our guy Gary is already in. Corey was in earlier. Hi to all the sickos out there, diehards. We like to call them affectionately.
Let me ask you a question. I'm still a little bit new. Difference between sickos and diehards?
This is the same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys have said it before, and I'm like, what's the difference?
No, they're the same.
No,
Gotcha.
frankly,
the official term is a diehard.
Okay.
Affectionately, they're also sickos.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
the infection works both ways, right? So if you're a sicko, it's probably a good idea to become a diehard. When you become a diehard, you eventually will transform into a sicko.
Gotcha. Noted.
Just go both ways.
Let's get right to our Taking the Temp segment off the top. Your trusted local experts, Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Somehow, some way, I knew this list was going to make me mad. MLB Network, we kept waiting. You know, they do it like 10 at a time or 20 at a time, and you see the list coming out. And I already knew once we got to 50, I thought to myself, Nico's not going to make this list because he's probably somewhere in 50 to 100 in my world, right?
Yeah.
So when he didn't make the first 50, I thought, what's going on here? Well, they finally finished the list, okay? And I don't have massive problems with the top 10. The top 10 goes Ohtani, Judge, Witt, Raleigh, and Ramirez.
Yeah, great.
It's a good five, right? Like Juan Soto not in the top 5 is a little surprising, but okay.
But who are you going to bump for Soto?
I mean, if you're going on right now and as of a season last year, like Raleigh's got to be pretty up there. He plays catcher. The first pitcher to hit the list is Skeens at 7, then Skubal, Corbin Carroll at 9. Now, I thought maybe I thought Corbin Carroll was a little high because the season before was like, okay.
Right. He
human.
took a step back. Right.
And Vlad Jr. at number 10, Lindor 11. I don't really have a problem with most of that. But I don't think you can watch a baseball season where you watch all of Nico Hoerner's games and say to yourself, that guy's not one of the 100 best players in Major League Baseball right now. And the only reason you'd be saying it is because he doesn't hit home runs. Are home runs really so valuable that we can't say Nico Hoerner is one of the 100 best players in the game?
Well, I think we all talked about last year that Nico Hoerner was probably our most valuable player on a playoff team that went, somewhat deep in the playoffs. Like he was probably our most valuable player was Nico Hoerner. And I think you're right, because everything else he does phenomenally. It's the lack of power. Probably whoever's judging this or picking this or whatever, probably it's a bias against the fact that he doesn't have much power, which I still think there's more in there, but at least as of right now, he doesn't.
Yeah, throw Joe Gallo on the list while we're at it if we're going to do power. Really quick, shout out to Mark Pelkey in the chat here. Says that his, I think it was snow and the cold has shut down his city, so he's at home watching CHGO Cubs.
What city is that?
Yeah. Tell us what city is. And also, I'm just kind of like imagining him like with the slippers on, maybe the little blanket, the hot cocoa mixed with whatever you want in there, just kind of like
velvet robe.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
With the Die Hard logo.
I'll be honest, like I had Blackhawks on Friday night. We did Rose in the Rafters on Saturday. I had nothing going on yesterday, so I definitely just watched Lord of the Rings and football almost all day yesterday, which was really nice.
Two very similar things.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Back to the question to him. My large takeaway before we get into some of the details and some of the players that I would kick off this list and put Nico Hoerner onto the list is it does feel like that the list is kind of leaning towards maybe not so much the objectivity of stats and production. It feels like it's kind of leaning towards trying to pump up some of the younger players in the game.
Okay.
You see like Roman Anthony's like in the top 50. You see, what was it? I thought it was interesting that Corbin Carroll's at number 9 and Mookie Betts gets kicked down to 18. There's some places where I think they make some concessions of like, well, this guy got hurt, so we're going to move him down the list. And then there's other parts where they said that I see guys that were hurt and are still high up the list. I just feel like that this is pushing a lot of younger players in the game. Now, Nico Hoerner is only, 29 years old?
Yeah, he's not old.
He's an incredibly young player, but I mean, my overall thought on this list was trying to push some of the younger generation guys into this top 100. And I think it's easy to see someone who's so consistently awesome every year, like Nico, kind of slip through the cracks.
Yeah. I mean, I hear what Gary's saying, and I'm with that. That's why once it got to 50, and I was like, well, I don't think he's one of the top 50 players.
I agree. He's not,
But 75 to 100, and then you start seeing some of the names that were in there, and you're thinking, well, come on. Now, this is not a fight with White Sox fans. I don't want it to be that.
It's always a fight with White Sox fans.
But Colson Montgomery at 88 over Nico Hoerner, even in the top 100, is laughable. Okay, let's go to what Justin Steele saw it. He's like, by the way, like Justin Steele's like, I saw that list, I heard about it, and he tweeted out, which just brought to my attention that Nico Hoerner was not on the top 100 list. I wouldn't take that list very seriously if that's the case. Whoever made it was obviously not trying to be locked in or take it too serious. The numbers speak for themselves. And then Alex Cohen said, what he said. And I would agree with that. And I understand at MLB Network, you've got endless amounts of content you need to put out. And it's all about a baseball game that's not being played right now.
And engagement.
But you also have a ton of employees. And you got to take some of this seriously, because I would agree, while it's created conversation for us, I don't take it too seriously, because first of all, I don't think I would value at the moment Colson Montgomery at 88 over Nico Hoerner. I just did the quick look. Like, it was like a half a season with some power.
That's the thing with power. It's almost like
but he couldn't find it. He hit 239.
I know.
And he hit 21 home runs.
But to Joey's point,
well, like, what?
He's a young guy. Maybe they're trying to boost up these young guys here. And
I understand. He might be way ahead of Nico by the end of the season. If the guy hits 40 home runs this year, you might say, sure, he's way ahead of him. But after not even a full season of good baseball,
right?
What are we talking about?
Nico Hoerner is the most valuable player on a Cubs playoff team that went fairly deep. And we talk about he doesn't have much power, but let's talk about things that he does do well. He was in the race for a batting title last year, right? He was a Gold Glove winner last year, right? He led the league, I want to say, or at least one of the tops in the leagues on batting average with runners in scoring position. That's the most clutch stat you could possibly have in baseball if you quantify it. So, like, he does so many things amazing. And it's like, okay, fine. The power, the only thing you can knock on him is the power. But, like, everything else, he's a well-rounded, phenomenal player. I'm with you. Listen, he's not top 50. 75 to 100 is where I would expect him probably, but to not be a top 100 player is a travesty.
Yeah, just when we talk about Colson Montgomery, there's a lot of stuff that you like, right? He had an OPS in 840s, 21 home runs, 71 games. But again, the 71 games is a kind of what I have a problem with, right? Like, we do it all the time here on this show of like PCA first half, PCA second half, Kyle Tucker first half, Kyle Tucker second half. All that stuff matters. So if that kind of conversation is going to matter, then only 71 games from a player. And he's not the only person on this list, so I'm not singling him out. And there are a couple guys that I'm going to name check here that I think are going to be either that don't deserve to be on this list or Nico at least deserves to be ahead of them on this list. You have to play out a full season, and that consistency that Nico brings is part of the reason why we are pushing for him to say that he got robbed out of this top 100. My question for you, Luke, is when it's day 13 of the Do Not Trade Nico Hoerner campaign, is this good or bad news for the campaign? Because good, right? We're good. It's like, hey, let's keep him off the top 100. Like, we don't want to trade him
under the radar.
Yeah, under the radar. Or is it bad where it's a real just slam at our belief system and our faith structure?
It's good if it helps us knock down the extension talks from 5 to 100 to something.
There you go.
Something like 4 for 80.
Yeah,
oh boy, you're a 100. You're a 106th best player in Major League Baseball.
It's bad if they are actually trying to trade him, or we're trying to get back, quote unquote, the big haul, right? Like, not good that way. It's, to me, it's just more about respect. And again, it's not about the White Sox. It's not about Colson Montgomery. It's just a name I pulled out and was 71 games.
Yeah.
What? Before the 71 games, I think the guys on the White Sox podcast, I think Sean will look at you and say, I think they were worried he was a bust.
Well, even in the minors, he went through some valleys in the minors too.
He was 71 games away from people calling him a bust, and now all of a sudden you're going to tell me he's better than a Gold Glover who does everything except for hit for home runs.
This is almost like, in a weird way, like MLB putting the Miz on the All-Star roster.
That's a great one.
It's like, no way. But they were pumping up this hype. Yeah. It's kind of similar to that.
Good question by Corey, by the way. Sorry to interrupt. He just asked, like, hey, how many Gold Glovers didn't make the list? I don't know.
Ian Happ. Gold Glover.
We know that.
Didn't make the list.
Dansby did not make the list.
Dansby?
Yeah.
Right there, we got a couple in our team.
That's a good start. I mean,
but Nico's the one that stands out.
Totally,
to me.
yeah. I mean, he's again the complete player, Mr. Clutch, and he was.
I thought Happ was on
up for a batting title. Maybe he wasn't. I'm assuming he wasn't.
I don't think so. I mean, we got Seiya and Bush are towards the back end. It's in the 80 to 100 range. Bush at number 67, and I believe Seiya came in at number 77. And
I'm sure Bregman's higher than that.
And Bregman is higher than that for sure. PCA came at number 40. But to your point, Justin, I mean, it gets a bit into a semantic, but when Major League Baseball, MLB.com, comes out with a top 100 list, you would think, to Justin Steele's point, that whoever was making this list would be a little bit more locked in and a little bit more drilled in on the numbers and impact, not only like on the stat sheet, but maybe beyond the game and just a pound-for-pound best player. To your point, I think this kind of comes more across as a power ranking. You know what I mean? Where it's like, who's hot, who's not right now? Like, whose arrow is trending up heading into next season, which is why I like Nick Kurtz as a player. I think he's going to have a really promising career. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when you got Mookie Betts at 18 and you got Corbin Carroll at 9, it feels a little bit more like a who's hot and who's not, more than pound for pound best players in baseball. And I think that's where Nico comes up short, and I think that's why we're all mad.
But Joey, even with that, is this not the peak of Nico's career right now?
His best year was last year, for sure. I would agree.
Right? So, like, even in the hot list, Nico should be on that list. So I just...
No, and I got some creative...
Somebody mentioned Bryce Terang. I don't think he's that much better than Nico Hoerner. I would call him equals.
No, and I got some guys here. We'll do it on the other side of the break that I would take off this list or I put Nico ahead of them, who just did have their career years, and Nico still had a better year than them, and he still isn't on the list. So it's a snub. There's no two ways about it.
Is Vidal Brujan on this list?
No, Brujan was on this list. We would have rioted.
But he signed somewhere. I saw he signed with somebody. I can't remember.
In the MLB or like in like the
I saw Vidal Brujan is on some. I can't remember.
Good for him, man. Good for him.
Gonna have to Google that.
I wish him the best.
All right, we'll talk more about it. Did Nico really get snubbed?
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about the Brewers trade that makes you think, was that a great trade for the Brewers, or was that them waving the white flag? It's next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota.
Hey, Cubs fans, did you know that whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365? Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose, and they've got the early football payout offer, and there is only one game left for the Super Bowl. Right now, if you place a bet on either the Seahawks or those dang Patriots to go up by 17 points, you can be a winner with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections that are marked as winners. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up to apply for that 17-point offer. You can also double your winnings on parlays with Bet365's 100% parlay boost. So download that app, use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Remember, deposit $10, place a bet for $5. You can get up to $200 in bonus bets. If that bet wins or loses, you can use it on spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus or older, though. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling, referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
Can you believe that we're already 1 month into 2026? That doesn't mean it's time to move on from your goals. Huel is a perfect solution for high-protein, routine support, busy days, habit building, convenience, and control this year. Every single day, my life is in chaos. Mornings are madness. I skip meals, workouts. Let's not talk about them. I'm trying to eat better, but then I realized I needed something quick and complete. Huel want to pay attention because Huel Black Edition, ready to drink. Here it is, complete meal that I can drink, breakfast, post-workout, meetings, school drop-off, whatever. 35 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins, gluten-free, under $5 a meal. A complete meal you can literally just grab and go. There's also the Black Edition powder, same high protein, same complete meal benefits, ready to drink. And the powder duo basically become my insurance policy. Limited edition offer. Get Huel today with exclusive offer, 15% off, and my code Cubs15. Thank you to Huel for partnering with us. If you're busy, it's a game changer. Huel. Love it. Back on the CHGO Cubs podcast with Justin Roman and Joey Christopoulos. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. Let's do a Toyota Super Chat, and it's going to be our guy Gary, who says Brujan is on the Twins now. And I'm only doing this to Gary because it's the first time he's ever been wrong.
Oh, Gary.
I believe he was traded, and yes, others are saying it as well. Cash considerations from the Twins to the Mets.
Wow, Gary was wrong?
Gary was wrong.
Gary, come on, dude.
Joe Johnson early in the week. The shirt at Obvious Shirts right now.
Yes.
Fellow Hoosier. Wrong, Gary.
We should have like a board.
It happens to all of us, Gary. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'm wrong a couple times a show.
Times we've been wrong. Gary 1, Kurt Signetti 0. So Kurt Signetti's never
the rest
been wrong.
Of us, the number just keeps going. It's like a rolling number.
Yeah, I'm like what's the number for pi? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's about
3.14.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the amount of times I've been wrong in my life.
3.14159.265.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, do you know whose birthday?
Kansas, right?
Do you know whose
there,
birthday
right?
was yesterday?
Who?
Producer Sarah.
Oh,
her birthday
what?
was yesterday. So happy birthday, Sarah. We love
Thank you.
Wait
Appreciate
a minute.
it.
Is that where you got? Is
Skip
that why you
around
got the
the room.
cool blue hat knitted from your crochet?
My friend did. Yeah, my friend did make this for me.
But that's for your birthday?
Yeah.
Aww.
Boy, we really. Hey, you know what? Here's some fuel. I'd like to give you some fuel for your
I love
birthday.
fuel.
Fuel's
Got
awesome.
You're gonna love the peanut butter. and this red solo
and a
cup.
red Solo
forgot. Happy birthday! We don't believe in
The
wrapping
dust
paper.
bunnies in the corner.
We would have wrapped it all up, but we don't believe in clogging up our sanitary system.
We're environmental, is what it is.
Very environmental. All right, so yeah, the Nico thing to wrap that up. It's just for respect. It's been a difficult. He's had back-to-back difficult off seasons. If you're just going through the mental game of trying to stay right, he's going through elbow surgery last offseason while we're all out here saying, well, if you had to trade somebody and really go get something, the one guy that you know is a certain value is Nico.
Yeah.
He responds with his best season, even though he didn't get to go to Japan.
Yeah, he started on the IL, right?
So it was all like, oh man, tough off season. Then he had a great season. Now we're here saying the same things.
I know.
He could be traded. And then MLB Network's like, he's not even a top 100 player.
One of my favorite, we didn't talk about this, but you were at the convention. One of my favorite quotes from Nico Hoerner was somebody asked him like, hey, with Matt Shaw being kind of super utility, would you stand to benefit from like letting Shaw play a little bit? And Nico's like,
not
no.
really.
He's
Not
like,
really.
I want to play every day. Like, no, thank you. Like, that was awesome. I love that answer. I love how serious he was, how matter of fact he was. Nico is a gamer. And you know what? it's a hell with everybody else for undervaluing him. We love him here in Chicago. He's the heart and soul of our team. So whatever, man. He could be not the top 100 on MLB.com, but he's number 1 in our hearts.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. I love sitting in this chair with you guys, and I talk into this microphone, and I love saying that these guys should try and maybe take a day off here and there, just because I want them to be as fresh as possible. Like I applaud when Dansby wants to play every single day, but then you see Dansby go through these slumps and you can't help but feel sometimes, would it help him if he ever had 24 to 48 hours to recharge the body or the mind? What would that look like? What would that do? But man, to your point, like what Nico said, like these dudes, if they're healthy and they're capable and they're out there, they are going to be playing baseball. And that's just kind of no two ways about it. No matter how much as a fan, I think that they can maybe benefit from a little bit of a blow every once in a while.
There are certain guys, right? So Dansby is older than Nico, right? Nico seems like he's just in tip-top perfect physical shape. He can play every day. He's still young enough. Guys like Seiya Suzuki, I think, could use a day off. Guys like Swanson could use a day off. I think guys like Bregman could probably use a day off. But I feel like Nico's still like that guy that could play every day, and he's just young enough and got that energy to make. I think PCA is another guy. He could play every single day and does not need a day off, but it just depends on what tier you're at. But for me, Nico, PCA, those guys, I would assume Matt Shaw, if he was a starter, those are the guys that could probably go every single day and not miss a beat.
Well, and what we've seen from Craig Counsell is some guys just need mental days off.
True.
Right? Like it's not even the physical part of it. And so that got me to, I agree with you. I think some of them need to step back and be like, I want to, but my manager will force me to take a day off. That's okay.
Yeah, right.
But I want them to take the day off when the manager's like, take a day off, because he knows how to protect them as much as they know how to protect themselves. Last thing on the Nico thing, who will be on the top? Who should be or will be? Let's say will be. Mm-hmm. Who will be on this 100 list next year for the Cubs?
Like, what do you mean? Who will be on it?
Which Cubs players will make the top 100 next year?
Okay.
I'm going to say that if Nico didn't make it after this year, he's not making it next year.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Okay. So who are the guys going to be? Bregman will hopefully make the list.
Seiya, PCA.
Yep.
I would like to see Cade Horton. I think Cade Horton. So Baldwin, the catcher from Atlanta, who beat him out for the Rookie of the Year, barely snuck in there. I think at like 97, 98. I would anticipate Horton leapfrogging that and moving that over. But Justin, I tell you, the one that would be the sweetest one of all is if Edward Cabrera is on that top 100 list.
Cabrera, Bush,
heading into next. Oh, I'm sorry. Bush is definitely, I think, would be a lock too as well.
Let me go
to probably get in the 70s, maybe.
Healthy Justin Steele.
Let me go. Oh, there you go. Excuse me. Let me go backwards though about what you were saying about Cade Horton. Where were Skeens and Skubal on that list? Super high, right?
So, yeah, they were top 10, and it went Skeens, then Skubal, right? 7 or 8.
So Joey, they
were the first two pitchers.
I'm gonna raise you on this because second half of the season, there were 3 guys that were all in competition with like the best second halves, and it was like Skubal, Skeens, and Cade Horton. So I'm not expecting Cade Horton to just like leapfrog Baldwin and get number 20 or 98, 97. I'm hoping that he has the kind of year that puts him like top 50 and in the same conversations with the guys like Skeens and Skubal. That I have high hopes for Cade Horton. I really do.
Well, I mean, heck, if he's in a Cy Young conversation, how do you keep the guy out of the top 50?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you got Skeens and Skubal 7, 8.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that's crazy. He could go from not on the list all the way to the top 25 if he has a terrific season. And I don't want to put that pressure on him, but I'm saying, could I see a world where that happens? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's weird about this list, right? Is that like I can't just sit here and say, well, if Cade Horton puts together a full season, he automatically is going to make this top 100, because that isn't necessarily the case of how they're putting together this list. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
who are the other frauds on there, Joey? Because Colson, again, I'll say the Montgomery one. I hate to be picking on him. I know it seems like that. Yeah. But you're talking about a guy that in Baldwin that won Rookie of the Year, and he's way behind Colson Montgomery. Like, what are we talking about?
So here's the ones that bothered me. Okay. And I think these are all good players, and I'm not saying that these are bad players, but I'm saying if you put these guys at this point in the top 100 and Nico's not in the top 100, what the hell are we doing? At number 41, Roman Anthony, another guy who I think has a bright future ahead of him, only played 71 games. The splits aren't that great. He's got a ton of talent, but I feel like this is some sort of weird like shine on a young player to get him into the list at 41, right behind Pete Crow Armstrong, where Pete Crow Armstrong had to do a lot more to prove that he deserved to be on that list.
Yeah.
I think heading into this last year. Jarren Duran in Boston hit 240s last year. The Red Sox talk about trading him all the time. At 58, I didn't really understand this one. The one that really got me going was at number 61 is Jazz Chisholm for the New York Yankees. I think that he is a good player.
Right.
He just came off of his career season. He had a career WAR of 4.2. Well, really quick. Nico Hoerner had a higher WAR than him, which was 27th in baseball at 4.8.
Wow.
And Nico Hoerner has had a 4 WAR each of the last 4 seasons, except for one that was 3.9. So that really bummed me out. Number 69, Wyatt Langford, another good player, outfielder, 61 RBIs. Oh, yeah, that's right. Nico Hoerner had more RBIs than him at 62. And then Jacob Wilson, the shortstop on the Athletics. Young player, but only a 3.0 WAR, 39 extra base hits. Oh, yeah, Nico Hoerner had more extra base hits than him at 40. So, I mean, I get it. We're trying to get some of these young guys into the mix a little bit, but if you start stacking it up, outside of the power, which takes Nico's OPS down to like 740, seems like one of the prerequisites for this list is like a 780 plus to get on there. But if you go up and down, pound for pound, Nico Hoerner is just as good as all of these players. And I'm with people in the chat too as well, where I will say that you can make a case that Bryce Terang probably had a better season than Nico because he had a fantastic September specifically. But they're right on par with each other. Yeah. And Bryce Terang's in the middle of this list. So I don't know. Just some of these guys on this list, I was like, I would take Nico hands down every single time over some of these guys.
You spelled this out, and it's the first time I'm looking at the visuals here. And you say Roman Anthony and Colson Montgomery each played 71 games. That's correct. Less than half a season, right?
Yeah.
Cade Horton was the best pitcher in baseball for the second half of the season. Yeah. Why is he not even on the list?
Right.
If you're gonna go
by half a season, is 21 homers better than maybe the best pitcher in baseball?
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, and these lists are very subjective, and they love these talking points. I mean, they love Twitter going back and forth. They love that kind of engagement, you know. But you're making more of a case for me for Cade Horton than even Nico Hoerner right now, because looking at these half seasons, well, why was Cade Horton not on there being the best pitcher in the second half of the season?
Why does nobody respect the Cubs?
I want them all on there.
On this name.
Put them all.
We're the Rodney Dangerfields in the National League.
We are.
Kids don't even know what I'm talking about. Hey,
Back to school?
No. Harrison Bader signs with the Giants 2 years, $20.5 million.
Sorry,
Joey, that was the dream. And was that the dream for you as a fourth outfielder, or how are you picturing him fitting in?
So I thought it could be a compelling ad, just because he's got a little bit of that attitude. I thought he would fit really well with like what our defense first. I thought he runs the bases really well. He has a little pop. I will be honest with you that look, I loved what Kevin Alcantara gave to us in spring training last year. So I'm excited to see him get the shot at the fourth outfield position. But look, when you look at the money at the end of the day, and the musical chairs were starting to stop a little bit, and I wondered if the South Side might get in on Harrison Bader. I'm totally cool with it. What I love what the Cubs are also doing right now, as I said it before the show, it's like the Matt Caesar Invitational here at spring training, bringing in Chas McCormick, guys like Dylan Carlson. Yeah. Like, it isn't just I've railed against the Cubs in years past when they'll bring in a guy who's a fringe player like that, like Jake Marisnick always comes to mind, right? I was like, Jake Marisnick's coming in, everything's fine, nothing to see here. And then he turns to kind of into the sub player that we all kind of projected him to be. What I like what the Cubs are doing is that instead of Harrison Bader, they're bringing in 3, 4 guys and having them all compete. Maybe one of them goes down to the minor leagues and acts as insurance. One of the other guy goes out and wins a job. A guy that wins a job means that he's hitting the ball and he's doing what he needs to do in spring training, Justin. Yeah. I would rather have that kind of competition heading into spring training than probably paying that money for Bader.
For me, in a perfect world, Kevin Alcantara becomes the fourth outfielder. He's a top prospect, and it's you got to have a nice balance of veterans versus young guys. And I think like what a low pressure situation for him to be is a fourth outfielder, and then see what you got, right? And he's a backup center fielder because we don't really have one, so he could be our backup center fielder. But it'd be nice to like see like Mo Baller, Alcantara, these guys kind of contribute to the big league ball club, and you're not putting too much pressure on them. It's like, all right, Mo Baller has pressure as a DH as of right now, but like Alcantara, now Matt Shaw being super utility, like not as much pressure to be the guy, and hopefully they can grow into the guy in a year or two.
Even though the Cubs have made some larger moves, they are still going to find out what some of the young players are. And I'm not totally against that. I just didn't want it to be the plan for the whole offseason.
I hear you.
And it's not anymore. That said, Bader would have fit, I think, like you, pretty well on the team, but I'm not against what it appears the Cubs are going with. And you might be able to get a player like that at the trade deadline if you need him anyways.
I mean, he got money.
Yeah.
Bader got legit money.
Well, that money,
million.
I don't know that I would have necessarily.
I would not.
Fourth outfielder? I mean, it's a lot,
No.
One funny thing I did see, Dylan Carlson, right, is the guy we signed?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't he? He's the guy that the Cardinals would not give up for Juan Soto.
Yes.
That's correct.
Man, I mean, that's a perfect example of prospects are just prospects.
Yes.
He is now gunning for our fourth outfield spot, but they wouldn't budge on him for Juan freaking Soto.
There's also a crazy stat out there that like someone ran Chas McCormick's splits when he is with Bregman as a teammate and when he isn't with Bregman as a teammate. So maybe he is the doubles whisperer, if you will, with Bregman back in the fold. But no, look, I mean, these guys all have talent. They all have for spells produced at a major league level that I think we would just say league average or maybe just below sub-league average. So it's about depth, and this continues the mantra and philosophy of the Cubs this offseason. Depth, depth, depth. I can't do nothing but thumbs it up.
All right, coming up after the break, in former Cubs news, ... Next on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Omaha Steaks. From handcrafted steaks to delicious fall favorites, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. Enjoy USDA certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, those cozy comfort meals on cold days, plus tailgating favorites like chicken wing smash burgers and big deli style franks. Right now, during their red hot sales event, you can get 50% off sales right now. 50% off at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners an extra $35 off when you use the promo code Cubs at checkout. I reverse sear those fillets, absolute perfection every time. America's original butcher since 1917, family owned. They have mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood. I love the halibut steaks. Delectable desserts. Tartlets?
Right up your alley, buddy.
Get fired up for fall grilling. Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their red hot sales event, and then that extra $35 off with the promo code Cubs at checkout. 50% off plus another $35. Promo code Cubs.
Hear ye. New vehicles are in store right now at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal at the Ray Resolution Sales Event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, you can get 0% financing for 72 months, just like the 96 Bulls, plus no payments until spring on new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram models. You can shop over 125 vehicles that are priced under $20,000. They got a friendly team of brand experts, so the team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. Plus, they prioritize affordability, so you know you won't overpay for the vehicle that you need. It's Ray's price promise that matters. You can shop confidently with no add-ons and hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you're going to pay. So go check out one of their partners' shops today in the Chicago area's largest inventories. Find a new vehicle right now. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963.
Back on the CHGO Cubs podcast, it was our good friend Becky breaking in with one of the two former Cubs stories that I saw in the last 24 hours. No, Becky, we haven't seen news on Justin Turner yet, but Becky is right. I saw today that the Angels signing a minor league deal with Trey Mancini.
Wow. Dude. It's a big one. It's a big one.
The Angels the Angels are the gateway drug to retirement.
I'm expecting a lot of that.
It's just the last stop. It's the last train stop before you're just out of the game. Go play for the Angels.
They cut ties with Rendon and they grabbed Trey Mancini.
There it is.
There you go. Wouldn't it suck to be an Angels fan? I mean, that organization has literally those contracts. I mean, some of the worst contracts in baseball history went out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And just didn't work.
Wouldn't it suck to be Mike Trout? No, it'd be great to be Mike Trout. But
I hear what you're saying.
As a baseball player, I'd be frustrated if I were Mike Trout.
Yeah, I hear you. The thing about, I've been to a ton of Angels games in my life. It's actually a really fun experience. Everything's crazy cheap, like parking, food, everything. Everyone's crazy nice there. You can't help but feel bad for them in the sense that at least the Angels have tried. Yeah. Now, granted, the plans were faulty. right?
Yeah.
Like giving Josh Hamilton a ton of money turned out to be faulty.
Rendon.
Giving Pujols 20 years turned out to be faulty. You know, but you can't fault them for at least trying, right? They've thrown bad money at players before.
So the front office, really, the decision makers are horrible.
Well, not only are they horrible too, also, but there's a whole deal too as well that they have by far the worst minor league system.
I mean,
in the majors, not just because of player development, but because of how cheap they are. So the problem, I would be as an Angels fan, I'd be upset that if you are a team that says you got the big bad Dodgers only 25 miles away from you, you would say to yourself, well, we need to start beating them at their own game, which is beating them in the minor leagues.
And you know how they could have done that? And they messed up? They didn't trade Ohtani. How stupid were they? They didn't have a chance to re-sign Ohtani. You could have traded Ohtani and restocked your system like that, and they didn't do it. So like the guys that are making decisions are just dumb. They're horrible.
Yeah, now they can't trade Trout either. And there was this horrible story maybe about 18 months ago that came out about how their minor league system, about how the nutrition is terrible, about how the travel is awful, about how some of the players are sleeping in their cars and like cramming 3 people into a studio apartment. Yeah, it's the worst. It's like, let's throw all this money at the major league team, but let's put none of it in the minor league system. Horrible. So, I mean, yeah, it's tough, and it's kind of just sort of a wayward house for the Kyle Hendrickses of the world to, before you ride off into the sunset, earn some money for one more year by playing for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yu Darvish is the other former Cub that had the crazy story of the report saying he's retiring. He's going to walk away from 3 years, $46 million with the Padres. Now, we know he had the injury, and he's rehabbing now. But then it came out, and Darvish was like, I'm not announcing my retirement. Let me see what the exact quote was. It was from his...
This is crazy.
It's a roller coaster.
I think it was his Instagram. But basically, he's saying, no, not yet. And he said, I am leaning towards voiding the contract, but there's still a lot that has to be talked over with the Padres, so finer details have not been decided. Right now, I'm fully focused on my rehab for my elbow. If I get to a point where I can throw again, I will start from scratch again to compete. If I get to the point where I feel I can't do that, then I will announce my retirement. Well, that's not the same as saying he's announcing his retirement.
I am shocked, though, that he put in there, I'm leaning towards voiding the contract. Like, saying that out loud is very...
Well, he's responding. I don't know that he was... If he was the one that was saying it and that led to the reports, that leads to a little bit of confusion. For sure.
Yeah.
But, like, man, that's a... Can you imagine walking away from $46 million? You want integrity. That's integrity right there.
That's integrity times. I wouldn't walk away from $46,000. I mean, like, if I was signed here for $5, I mean, like, you have to wheel me out of here. Like, I mean,
you want to talk
$460 I wouldn't walk away.
You want to talk about walking away, too. I got a fun anecdote where I live in Evanston right now, and I live right off the lake, and we take our little doggy down to the lake, and you can see the whole thing. And I was walking. This is actually when we were doing the watch-alongs with Cubs Brewers at the time, and I ran into a guy walking the street wearing Cubs gear. I'm wearing Cubs gear. We give each other whatever, and we just start talking Cubs in the street. And he goes, "Hey, do you know something? Yu Darvish's house is right there, right across the street there."
That's cool.
And it's been empty the last 2 years. Sure. So of course, me and my wife Mara, we walk over there and we press our little cheeks up to the glass.
Open the door, walk inside. We've been sleeping on sleeping bags for a couple weeks. Squatters' rights.
So I'm living at Uncle Yu's house right now.
Uncle Yu.
So I mean, walking away. I mean, you know, I'm sure he's got real estate and all. I mean, he's made so much money in his life.
But still, no matter how rich you are, walking away from $40-something million, that's a lot to do. I will say, Yu Darvish is a stand-up dude. I think he was a great Cub for us. He's the reason. I think one of the many reasons we have Seiya Suzuki. He vouched for the Cubs organization. And don't forget, he's the reason we have Edward Cabrera on our team. If you do the little tree there of Owen Casey and, you know,
the degrees of Yu Darvish.
Nothing but love for Yu Darvish. Always been a cool guy. And he had some good flow going on, too, for a while, you know, with his hair. Nice.
I got a question. When you went to the house, was there a fence all the way around it, a big, tall fence? Because that was the fight when he bought that house in Evanston was he wanted to put up like a 10-foot fence, and Evanston was like, no. It's on the lake. He's got lakefront property. And he didn't want people just like, you know, knowing his business and looking over like a tiny little fence.
Putting their heads on the windows.
He didn't want the Joeys of the world trying to get in as a squatter.
It's just one butt cheek. What's the big deal?
Joey's telling Murray's like, listen, you could be the owner of Yu Darvish's house. All we have to do is squat here for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In a sleeping bag.
Go ahead,
and
Vito.
we could own at least the yard.
You can pee on Uncle Yu's tree. Yeah, he's got a
we
fence
couldn't afford
line.
the taxes on that place, let alone the house.
There's a fence fence line all around his huge backyard, but
So
then
you got it. You
but there
finally got
isn't.
the fence.
Well, there isn't though, because I can walk out like
and see the
to
water.
the front, and then he has like this whole outdoor patio,
You never
stone
got
patio thing. So I don't think that ever happened.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. Evanston,
Yeah. Not cheap.
tough place to get stuff done.
But if I
too,
win
by
the
way.
lottery, I'm moving into you Darvish's house,
Oh, absolutely.
and we'll have a CHGO Cubs party there. It'll be great.
Well, you could probably get a deal on it. I do think he's one of those guys where sometimes we rush to judge a player on football. Does it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams was a bust.
Right.
Daniels was a hero. He was the greatest one in the draft. And now you do the list and you're like, where's Daniels? Where is Caleb? Where,
Right.
and Darvish, the first part of that first year where he was nervous about the contract, right?
Maybe.
And then after that, you were like, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Really
he's
good
not
pitcher.
perfect, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say him and Moises Alou are the two Cubs in my mind that I always think back when they signed to a big deal and they're just garbage that first year. And we go, what did we do? This a sunk cost.
Yeah.
And then, to you, Darvish's credit, I mean, 2020 obviously was a very strange season, but he was incredible.
He thrived.
He was
Yes.
incredible that year. Just the same way Moises Alou bounced back in that second year and became a really great player for the Cubs for a couple of years. So, sometimes like it's hard to say somebody is a bust or somebody is washed. Because when you think about it now, like in 2019, you're like, Darvish is terrible. Well, he still went on and for 7 years played some pretty damn good baseball.
I'm going to throw out one more guy, and the sample was very small, but Cub fans were not happy. John Lester, his first couple months here in Chicago were not stellar.
A little bumpy.
And I remember being at a Sunday night game. It had to be in April. And the crowd was not thrilled. I mean, big ticket signing, this guy coming over from Boston. He did not, his first month or two were not great here in Chicago. And obviously then he went on to have an awesome career here in Chicago. But like that, it was a little uneasiness of, did we sign the right guy?
Only our Corey Friedman was with him from day one.
Yeah, okay.
Never stood by his side.
Good.
I always felt like Lester would have one just awful start a year. Remember, he'd have one star where he couldn't get out of the second inning and give up 9 runs.
I got a funny story about that.
Screw up his ERA.
So I hosted his Never Quit fundraiser every single year for like 5 years, right? Okay. And so he always scheduled it on like an off day so the guys could all come and everything like that. Yeah. Well, something happened where it was a rain out or something where he had it the night of there was a game and he was pitching that game and he got rocked. I mean, I'm talking like maybe lasted an inning or two, gave up a ton of runs. I mean, maybe his worst start ever as a pro. And then that night is his big fundraising event. And I mean, like, that sucks, right? Like, one of those things where, like, you want to kind of walk in there like you're the big. No, horrible game, but he was always a great guy and he was super cool. But horrible timing of like his worst start ever. And then that night was his big fundraising event. And
Justin's like, let's give it up for John Lester. 8 runs in a third of an inning today.
For real. And actually, one more funny thing.
Right?
How about that outing today?
One more funny thing. After that event, I actually went back to his place in the city with a bunch of the guys, and they were sitting by a bonfire. John Lackey was there, Travis Wood, guitar. They're just playing by the bonfire, like regular dudes that were like singing and playing country music at the fire. And I was there till probably like 3 a.m. One of the coolest nights of my life. It was awesome. And he had a horrible start that day, but it ended up being a pretty cool night,
See, everything's always got some sort of silver lining, little rose petal to it, right?
It does.
Sometimes your garage door breaks and there's a silver lining.
$2,000 for a garage door, but boy, it's quiet. It's quiet.
Silver lining.
Yeah.
See?
Hey, the Freddy Peralta trade, because we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So the Brewers finally do deal Freddy Peralta. Now, you knew they weren't going to trade him to the Cubs, okay? Right. And you kind of wondered where he would land. And he has been a really good pitcher. And he's not that old. Mm-hmm. And you're like, man, what are the Brewers doing? Like, part of their problem is they're good every year. And I'm not telling them how to do their business, but yes, is this helping them restock and keeping them competitive? And their success rate of being competitive and interesting in division champs has been good, but they never get over the top. Right. This is why.
Yeah.
Because you really have to hit on a lot of those returns. I wonder what Brewers fans are. I'm going to guess that they're all really upset about this one.
They're not
happy.
And
it doesn't mean it won't play out well in a few years. But right now, will this actually turn the division finally over to the Cubs? Or will they have 3 more random guys that come out of the woodwork and somehow they turn around and have a streak like they did last year? I feel like Peralta is the last straw, to be honest with you. I really do.
Yeah.
I thought last year the Cubs were going to do it.
Yeah.
And obviously they fell short in the playoffs and in the regular season. But in the regular season was only because of this just ridiculous historic run. I think the Peralta thing now when it plays out will be the end of their reign as division champs.
They lost their ace. They did, you know.
And they've done it before, don't get me wrong.
They have. You know, it's a weird thing because I don't know the particulars of this, but I don't know, like here's a hypothetical or devil's advocate kind of thing. If the front office went to Peralta and offered an extension and he said no and they couldn't figure out, like if it was just not gonna, you can't let a Peralta walk away for nothing. So from a business standpoint, if that was talked about and Peralta was like, nope.
Like Darvish or like Ohtani, you were talking about.
Exactly. So, you know, from what I understand, the Brewers, they did get 2, well, especially 1 really good prospect back, and maybe, 2 good guys. So if Peralta wasn't going to sign an extension, you kind of like understand it from a business standpoint. But that being said, from a fan base perspective, you just won the division. You went to the NLCS and you traded your starter who's not making very much money at all. It's a horrible, horrible look for the organization, even if it is maybe the best business move if that extension was not agreed upon.
Yeah, and Sarah, if you can go up just a little bit, Corey Seacrest, we can do a Toyota super chat about, there it is, every time the Brewers make a trade, it makes me nervous. What do they know that we don't? The first one is what we don't know is that the Brewers know is they're not going to pay Freddy Peralta. Yeah. I mean, that just seems to be the bottom line. I have to give it up to them. They seem to continuously roll this over, and they keep finding magic, and they have voodoo, and they put it into their system. Gary Ross is right in the chat. Jet Williams is about 5'7", so Sal Frelick is like towering over him right now, like bullying him in the locker room. And that seems to fit their mold. He's going to be small, annoying, and toolsy, and let's see how they roll it out. But you can't help but feel, look, and I have little empathy, right, for Milwaukee Brewers fans, but any baseball team that even teams that draft really well, that develop really well, you can't help but feel like there's a fait accompli that eventually this guy that I'm rooting for, I'm not going to get to see him retire a Brewer. I'm not going to get a chance to see him go all the way through his career and make multiple All-Stars into his prime, because eventually ownership is just going to say to themselves, what do their owners say? We're just an entertainment product, and at the end of the day, like, we're going to move on from them. So I get it. They're rolling it over. The Sproat pitcher, obviously, Brandon Sproat from the Mets is intriguing. I'm sure they'll bring him in and see if they can do something. But they keep turning this thing over and over again. I'm telling you, eventually it bites you in the ass a little bit, and it does cap your ceiling every time you just move off of some of your big chips because you frankly just don't want to pay them. So
it's just another reason why we will most likely have a work stoppage. Right? Like, the game shouldn't be, and this, I'm not knocking the Dodgers for it. The game shouldn't be, one of the problems they have is the game shouldn't be a team that's so far above that they just spend for whoever they want. Yeah. The Tuckers, whoever they want. And then you have another team that's very competitive but can't quite get over the top, and they're giving away their ace pitcher because they know financially they've got to do some things different. It's the same story with Skubal. The Tigers shouldn't even be entertaining that thought. We say that all the time, like, well, you got to listen. But nobody should be trading Skubal. The Brewers shouldn't be trading Peralta. Right. Instead, their ownership should have to pay a certain amount to players, and that's just the way. The floor for me is more important to me than the top.
I agree.
It's all about the floor for baseball. And that's what they're going to have to figure out.
Well, Luke, right now you're playing in the parameters of what the rules are.
Yes.
And so, like, okay, so fine. The Milwaukee traded Peralta. Now Detroit, they have an even better pitcher with Skubal. And I mean, you could restock your system like that. Think about how far they are apart in arbitration.
Yeah.
Like, I think he wants $31 million and they're offering 19. I mean, they're so far apart. That makes me think that they're not going to get an extension done. So at that point, can you afford to watch Skubal leave for nothing? I mean, that's a
no. I'm just saying. I agree. I agree that they have a tough question. But the problem is, for fans of a team,
Yes.
they should never be considering letting.
Yes.
They should be locking him up for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Which is why you're right. The baseball's got to fix
Maybe
a lot.
I didn't phrase that exactly.
Right. Baseball has got to fix this entire system. I'll take it a step further. The whole
Guilty.
The whole
Guilty,
Kyle
lock
Tucker
him up.
thing. They're paying him $1 million next year. Because the signing bonus is it's like
a $60 million signing bonus, whatever the number is.
What are we doing here? It's broken. It's got to get fixed. And I hope both sides can be smart enough to realize baseball is thriving right now. And please don't let there be a work stoppage because we have the All-Star game next year. I don't want to lose that.
It's true. Much to the chagrin, right, of Ian Happ, who last time we saw Freddy Peralta was hitting a tater missile deep into the night at Wrigley.
That was electric.
Freddie Peralta not in the NL Central is great news for the Chicago Cubs.
It is.
In regards to the spending and everything, Sarah, go ahead.
I just have a quick question. Was Freddie on the top 100 list?
He has to be.
Yeah,
Good
he's
question.
one of the
but he
best
has
pitchers
to.
in the game.
I'm sure.
By the way,
I was
Randy
just gonna,
Lewis.
I was gonna talk some smack, but
You were gonna talk smack.
Now I'm just gonna go back over here.
Okay.
Randy Lewis says they'll plug in a hot dog vendor that throws 98 with 3+ breaking pitches.
That's funny.
That is the way it seems to go.
it is.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll look at the list. Freddie Peralta's got to be in the
He's
top
gotta
30,
be.
right?
Otherwise, I feel better about Nico not being on the list.
No,
because
Freddie Peralta's on this list.
He's gotta be.
Hold on, I took a picture.
I don't see him.
Uh-oh.
No,
Joey's
I don't see him
Freddie
right now,
Peralta's on there. There's no
I'm
way.
sure he is.
Wow.
Maybe the chat can
Here,
help us.
let's see.
Trying to skim through it quickly.
Freddie
if you will.
Freeman, Jordan Alvarez.
Oh,
right.
63.
Okay.
He's
Right
on.
next to Bryce Turang,
Honestly-
Eugenio Suarez, Kyle Stowers, Jazz Chisholm at 61, which drives me nuts.
I mean, it's even a hard argument to say this is anti-Cub, but how can you put PCA at 40 and Freddie Peralta at 63?
Right.
I'm not saying I don't love PCA's upside, but
Right.
Freddie Peralta
Yeah.
is an ace.
Yeah, it just feels like a who's hot, who's not list. I did see one thing when we were talking about you're talking about salary cap and all that stuff moving forward. I did see something fairly interesting, and I'm just going to bring this out as a generality.
Okay.
Without getting too complicated in accounting and numbers and math, all that stuff. I did see that what they need to do is, how we have revenue sharing across Major League Baseball, and they try and make it this even pie or whatever. Why don't they add more revenue sharing incentive based on how much money you spend or whether you hit a certain tier or hit a certain floor? As in, if you are the Miami Marlins and you only want to spend $70 million on your baseball team, you can knock yourself out. But guess what? Your revenue share, your revenue return is going to be dramatically less than if you were to reach a certain floor.
Or you have to, or depending on how the numbers they figure it out, you have to spend a certain percentage of your revenue sharing depending on how it relates to your total salaries.
Yeah, and they have to
I don't know.
They have to figure it out where it's something that's solid and stable because forgive me, but it just sort of feels like sometimes when these big things are just too big to fail, all these entities wait for some sort of windfall to come in and sort of swoop in and save them. And if they think in Major League Baseball what's going to save them is selling the rights to Netflix for billions of dollars and everyone's going to get a nice cash check from it.
Right.
I get that up front it makes sense and it's going to make all the owners happy because they'll get paid out of it. But I just don't think that solves what the issue is with the game right now. And yeah, maybe it is getting back into a little bit of signing bonus if you want to do that, which they don't do a lot in baseball. They're starting to allow it now.
Yeah. Signing
Bonus basically means the owner is paying for that, but it's not counting against the cap. Right. So if you want to get involved with that sort of thing, maybe you could do that. But also the revenue proportion, I think is also a piece to it too, to help some of these other teams spend some money. You don't want bad money going out where all of a sudden you're giving a guy $25 million because you're just trying to reach the floor, because that kind of screws up the market for other players. But you got to do something to just get everyone else at least incentivized into the game to take care of some of the players.
I think a salary floor is so important.
Very important.
But it's crazy to me, I know whatever mathematics, but Kyle Tucker's making $1 million next year, and Shohei Ohtani's making $2 million. I was that's a broken system that just needs to be fixed, and I really hope it is because it just doesn't seem fair.
Joey mentioned Netflix. Before we go, we got 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's where this happened. I didn't watch it because I'm afraid of heights. Some dude climbed a 1,600-foot building in Taipei with no tether, no net, basically literally just free climbing.
Crazy.
A skyscraper.
Crazy.
I ask you, what is your greatest accomplishment?
You want to go first?
Or craziest?
I was
going to
say, well, so craziest. I want to do
phrase it.
Craziest honorable mention.
Do what this guy did.
Was driving home from Rose in the Rafters on Saturday. Went to Rose in the Rafters. We had a great CHGO event. We got a suite. Bunch of Bulls fans came out. Everyone was super nice. Met a bunch of regulars in the chat that we've been conversing with for a long time.
Cool.
But it snowed like crazy, and then drove back to the office here and did a post game. Left to do that, and then I think I left at 12:05, and I didn't get home. Or I didn't get parked until like 1:20 in the morning because I had to drive 15 miles an hour. So
there it is.
Good on me.
You did it.
I survived.
One little fun fact: you saw the ceremony?
Oh yeah, no. So I saw the ceremony here because I came back.
Oh, okay.
I was producing the post game. I came back to prep for them, so I didn't. Yeah.
Fun fact: you guys wouldn't know about this group. So after they put his number up in the rafters, okay, the song they played once it was all. Jump Smokers MVP.
No way, Jump Smokers.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's our song.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
You should get a little something for that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it works out. Yeah,
the beak should get a little wet for that.
Yeah. All right, but it's fun.
That's awesome.
All right, so my what I'm most proud of, greatest accomplishment. Now, listen, I gotta put a disclaimer out here. I have two boys that are amazing. I love them both. The safe answer would be like, having my boys, but
we're gonna list.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a given.
Making the list.
That's a given.
Yeah.
I will say, and I'm not just saying this, man. I really, really, really believe this. It was driving out to Cleveland for Game 7 of the World Series. Mm-hmm. The team that I love more than anything in the world, on the cusp of winning their first World Series in 108 years, and I'm like, I have to be there. Like I got to be there. And so me and like 5 buddies drove out there to Cleveland. It was the best experience of my life, and it was the best night of my life. And just being in person to watch the Cubs win that World Series was. Again, the best moment of my life. It was awesome.
Just think if that home run had been one more guy on base.
Oh God, my heart sank.
Your whole life would have changed, right?
Totally.
Okay, I would agree that my greatest accomplishment was a blind date where I convinced the hot girl who was 9 years younger than me that I had plenty of Riz and I was on TV and you should date me, right? That I was full of Riz and I had Emmys and you should go out with me at least once. And then the kids came along.
How did you fit the food on the table with all the Emmys on the table?
Yeah,
how did you do that?
Well, first it was like, listen, here's my ego. Yeah. And can we get the chips and salsa?
I love it. I love it.
But after that, I had actually peaked in high school.
Okay.
And here's the quick story. This is the quick version. In high school, I'm sitting in geometry class, and I've got a Bic pen in my hand.
Okay.
It's hot. There's no air conditioning because it's, the 1900s. And a fly lands on the arm of my desk. I'm not paying attention to the teacher. I got my arm like this, and I just wham, down. I split the fly in half with the tip of the Bic pen, okay? And I jump up, and I'm celebrating in class. I got kicked out. And I'm like, yes. And I'm showing everybody the fly on the end of the pen. A great accomplishment.
That's great, yeah.
Like, athletically unbelievable.
A select few have been able to do that.
But wait.
There's more?
There's more.
Oh, my gosh.
Then I went to my job at the White Hen Pantry, where I did everything from deli meats to, making the Whippy Dip ice creams.
Yeah.
And I'm telling my friend about how I split the fly in half with my Bic pen in geometry class. And she's like, you are the biggest liar. You are the biggest exaggerator, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, the deli meats and stuff, there's flies all over the White Hen.
That's great.
By the way, you don't want to eat that sandwich.
Yeah.
It's 7-Eleven now.
Yeah.
And so a fly, as we're talking, lands on the cork board of the cutting board.
Oh.
Okay? I take out one of those long butcher knives. I don't think anything's going to happen. The tip, is really tiny little tip. And I take out that butcher knife, and I slam it into the corkboard. And I kid you not, I drove a fly through a corkboard with the tip of a blade. When in 24 hours, two of the greatest things that could have ever happened. Nobody in this world will ever repeat it.
You were Mr. Miyagi before Mr. Miyagi.
That's right. And so when you say this guy's got Riz, now you know he's also the fly assassin.
The fly assassin. That is your new nickname.
Assassin.
Do you think you have
one? I thought this guy climbed, but
Yeah.
If he was asked to pinpoint a fly with a big pen, and then within 24, I'd give him 24 hours.
Do you have one more in you?
Another fly?
Yeah, in this lifetime.
Do you know,
you're older now.
There
you know,
there you're talking about 18. I don't have those reflexes. Now I'd go like this, and the fly'd be 3 buildings away. Anyway,
we have 3 very different stories, don't we?
Yes, Randy's like Al Bundy peaked in high school.
Yeah,
but the real accomplishment is the Riz and the wife and the kids.
Yeah,
and then of course the fly.
That's a given.
Very quickly, I also broke my ribs trying to get on stage at an Iggy Pop show, and just so everyone knows, I did get on stage with Iggy Pop, and I will also tell you what is his shirt. What is his? Because he's always shirtless.
Oh, we gotta go.
What does he feel like?
We gotta go.
Beef jerky leather jacket.
Nice.
Godfather, flies are not easy to kill. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Have fun at Disney.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. We will see you tomorrow right here at 2 o'clock. Thanks for watching and fly. The W. The W. Fly. Did you get it?
Oh.
We all silly like the mayor.